Here we are. Welcome inside another episode of the Brooklyn Boardroom, where we go behind the curtain and off script with stakeholders and foot soldiers in media, tech, and entertainment. I am your host, Jay Christopher, the Industry Esquire, and today's topic is how to monetize digital platforms with sponsored search ads and create strategic partnerships with luxury brands. And we have a real expert, real heavyweight in the game here with me today, Miss Nikki Thompson. She works at Yahoo Oath, and Nikki has a background in what we're going to be discussing, including working for Variety Magazine as a strategic manager, working for the LA Times as a senior account executive, and Nikki finished her undergrad studies in advertising at Cal State Fullerton. Welcome inside the Brooklyn Boardroom, Nikki.
Thank you.
Yeah, here we are. So, before we get into the business, I like to give people an idea where my folks are from, where they hail from, where they grew up. So just tell us real quick, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town, Southern California, called Rialto. I.E. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, it is. I know you claim Brooklyn sometimes, though, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm the only person in my family born and raised in California. Everybody else is from Brooklyn, Flatbush specifically.
Big up, Flatbush, massive.
So yeah, every summer of my life, I went to Brooklyn for the summer, and gave my mom a break. She's a single mother.
I hear that.
So I got a little influence from the East Coast. And come back to California and.
Well, the real question is, do you know what a dirty wine? You know what that is? The skin out.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
Bum.
Yes.
No. That's another show, right? So,
yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, listen, welcome inside the Brooklyn Boardroom. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you.
When we had our conversation kind of offline about what you do, I was like, wow, this stuff is just like so incredibly important information that, I wanted to be more kind of have a better understanding of, but I also felt like there's tons of people who don't understand how this back world works. It's kind of like this tech search engine monetization space operates. So I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
For those that are new to the show, just a couple things I want to kind of hip you to. One of the things is we have a structure of our conversations. We start out with helping people understand the fundamentals. Then we go to part 2, exploring the landscape. And then our third part is being woke and surgical in the marketplace. So Nikki's going to walk us through those various areas with some questions that I've crafted. Also, when you hear this sound, that means we need to pull up and focus on what she just said because it was fire. All right, so you get those. We ears are going to be ringing.
Okay.
So all right, let's get started. So on the theme of helping my viewers and subscribers and listeners understand kind of this world a little bit, let's work on the fundamentals. So for those of you that aren't hip to tech jargon and digital monetization business models, help us understand the landscape and the digital ecosystem from an advertiser's point of view. And I'll give you some examples of verbiage and terminology that we're like, what does that mean? But I don't know if you want to give us just a broad overview of how that ecosystem is looked at by advertisers.
Okay. I'm going to try to break this down as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So advertisers, at the end of the day, their goal is to reach their target audience, right? Mm-hmm. And they want to spend as least amount of money to strategically find those people, that audience, right?
Got it.
So the digital platforms give them that opportunity to do that through something that people kind of dislike, tracking cookies.
Yeah. That means when you go to a website and you click on it and you're looking at it or messing around and then you leave it, there's a footprint of you there, right?
A little cookie has been dropped.
And that's the advertiser can know, oh, such and such person saw my website on such and such date. This is where they live.
Exactly.
And maybe there's even more personal information. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you're talking about social platforms, you share a lot of information. You connect with certain people. So there's more data collected on social platforms.
Okay.
That's why the Facebooks of the world are doing well. A lot of people think they're just a big brand because they're such a huge social platform, but they sell a lot of data.
The data is the game.
I don't know what percentage of their revenue comes from that, but I would think a huge percentage.
Yeah, no, I would imagine a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with people creating digital platforms and having, this unique targeted audience, it gives advertisers an easier way to reach whoever they're trying to this is not simple, convert.
I see.
So conversions, I'm going to say conversions often throughout this
Okay.
conversation. So conversions are whatever you want your audience to do. If you want them to buy something, the moment they bought it, that's considered a conversion. If you want somebody to subscribe to something,
Got it.
the moment they subscribe is considered a conversion.
Got it.
So that's an advertiser's end goal, and digital platforms allow them to do that strategically.
Okay, well, that's a really good explanation.
Yeah.
Conversions is the key, right? Because that's where the monetization part starts happening at, right?
Yeah.
We've converted you into our world. All right, so so here's the thing. So some primary areas. So help us understand what are some of the primary areas of revenue for platforms partnering with advertisers. We talked about syndicating a search engine like Yahoo, which is where you work,
Right.
Banner ads, native ads, sponsored content partnerships. So I'm guessing these are all of the probably the mainstream revenue drivers, but help us understand how those things work.
Yeah, and a lot of times people don't know what those verticals actually include, right?
Yes.
So let's start with display.
Okay.
So traditional display are those rectangular or skinny horizontal units on a web page.
Okay.
Back in the day, there used to be still images with a little text or copy.
Got it.
And nowadays, you see video playing in those units.
Yes.
Right? So that's considered display. The more units you have on your site or on a landing page, the more inventory you have to sell to advertisers.
So you have to kind of program your landing page or your website to be able to play or post,
Right.
photographs or content in various places, and that's kind of like you said, that is considered your real estate.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Got it.
Something even better now that video content is so huge in the marketplace is pre-roll. So pre-roll are those little like 15 to 30 second commercials that play before the video the user wants to see plays.
Yes.
Those are huge. Advertisers spend a lot of money on pre-roll.
Okay.
The downside of that is that platforms don't tend to have a lot of video content. Video content is something that you have to focus on creating,
That's right,
right?
yeah.
It takes a lot of time. So a lot of times platforms have a lot of text content, articles, but advertisers actually need the video content so that they can connect that pre-roll inventory to it.
I see.
So a lot of times I'll see like hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars of unused budget because advertisers can't find enough pre-roll inventory in the marketplace.
Wow.
So it's like as a business owner, you're saying no to millions if you don't optimize your platform to have more video content.
Because your role, and I guess we probably should have touched on this first, but your role is helping the advertiser identify, real estate on various platforms to place their ads. Is that how?
At the LA Times, that's what I
you did
did.
at LA Times,
and
okay.
at Variety. Now I'm in, at Yahoo, so I'm
Different.
solely focused on search.
Got it.
But yeah, before I was trying to either create enough inventory for advertisers or create premium inventory like the video for advertisers to attract them.
That's why, you hear over and over again, and if you want to build an audience, whatever the social media platform is, like the key to doing that is having content.
Yeah.
You can post photographs all you want and you can write articles, but end of the day, content is at the top of that pyramid of ways of converting, viewers, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that makes perfect sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing.
No, feel free to expand.
I've seen savvy publishers and platforms are the same thing. Okay. So I've seen savvy publishers actually aggregate content from other credible sites. And so they're not actually creating their own content, but they I'm sure get licenses with these other publishers, but they aggregate content so that it reaches a specific market, but they're not spending a lot of time creating content. They're actually just aggregating other people's content.
So clearly the takeaway from this part of the conversation is if you are a publisher, i.e. a platform, and you're attempting to generate advertising revenue, the key means of doing that will be aggregating digital content.
Yep.
No matter what it is, narrative or, snippets of whatever, short form, whatever, but get content and then you'll attract advertisers. Obviously, the advertisers are going to vary depending on the content you have, the quality of content, then you're in a whole other ballpark.
And the audience you attract.
And the audience you
attract. It's all
attract.
about your audience.
Got it. But you need to have those like you said, those the ability to play this content on various points on your platform. Obviously, the other thing that you run into the concern of, though, is the aesthetic cannot be as right. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to your website to learn about you're a mastery at architecture, right? But you got like 15 different players on your platform, and I can't even see, how beautiful the architecture you created is, right? So I guess there's a balance between like practicality and raising and monetization.
And you can't depend on the user to dig for the content, right? It needs to pop up at them. Our attention span is getting shorter and shorter as the years go on. And so your user is not going to dig.
Got it. It's got to be right there and obvious.
It has to be immediately there and engaging. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So at placing pre-roll ads is one way of monetizing a platform.
Yep.
What are some of the other ways?
Also display, the more traditional one. And then search, sponsored search. So
let's go real quick. Back to display. Display is the same as banner ads, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of the hierarchy of revenue potential, when you're looking at banner ads, i.e. display, the pre-roll advertising, and then you were about to get into search, how would you rank those in terms of monetization opportunities?
I've seen millions of dollars generated from search. I've seen millions of dollars generated from pre-roll. It probably depends on your platform.
Got it.
If your platform is a little bit more text heavy or article heavy, probably would depend on search monetization and display monetization a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you have a complete platform with video content, pre-roll all day.
Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on your platform.
And you kept referring to pre-roll, but I'm guessing there's also you can do advertising, beyond the pre-roll into the program, right? Like I don't know what would you call that, but like that commercial breaks, but I guess it's the same as a commercial, right? Like, but maybe that's not as popular though these days.
Yeah, pre-roll it runs before the video that you intend to watch.
Okay.
So the person's going to wait. And usually with pre-roll, you'll see that it plays for 10 seconds and then it gives the user an option to skip after that 10 seconds.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So at least the user saw something.
Yeah.
So pre-roll is the most popular, but then you do see for video players that continue to move from one video to the next, you'll see it's not considered pre-roll, but like in-stream roll, where the commercial is playing in between two videos.
I see.
So yeah.
And it's probably no such thing as a post-roll, right? After the show is over.
There is.
People, yeah, but I bet you it's a lot less valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's
the price point on that type of inventory is
because who's gonna wait around and watch the commercial after the show is over, right?
Usually the user's gonna be like, okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Unless it's something like, hey, get a free trip to Vegas for $10 or something crazy like that.
If you watch the next commercial.
Yeah, if you watch this commercial.
Yeah. I'm sure people do that too. Yeah, it's not common.
It feels like a scam half the time, You get that stuff in the mail on your phone too. All right, well, listen, that's helpful to understand. Now, explain to us what you started to talk about, which was this search engine business.
Okay, so this one's a little tricky to explain. So you have a platform and you have a large audience. So volume, say you have about 1 million page views a day.
Okay.
So, or 1 million visitors a day. Let's just keep it to one unique person. So you have this large volume, you have people coming to the site, and there's content there in the site, right? And so you'll see publishers integrate a search box into their platform. Users will use the search box to usually search for something within the site. And so they'll use the search box. At the top of the search results page, you'll see like sponsored ads at the top.
Okay.
That are relevant to whatever you search for, whatever query you search for in the search box. And then below those sponsored ads, you'll see the contents search results.
Got it.
And that's called algo, like organic search results.
Got it.
So they're like stacked on top. The sponsored ads are stacked on top of these organic search results. And like I said, they're relevant to whatever query the user search for.
Yeah.
So sometimes the user's like, ooh, that ad looks good. I want to look on, I want to go to that website instead. And so they'll click on that ad. And immediately when the user clicks on the ad, monetization for the publisher is done. So advertisers pay for price per click.
Per click. It's interesting though, because to be honest with you, every time I do a search and I end up with those ads at the top, I always ignore them because I feel like I'm going to be sold something. I don't think I want to click on that,
Right.
which is obviously part of the business challenge, right? But is there a benefit as a consumer to using the ad result versus using the non, you know?
Sometimes you'll see an ad from a premium advertiser that seems a little bit more credible than maybe the organic listings on that page.
Interesting. Is it safe to say though, if it's an ad, whatever the search results are will be more credible than a non-ad page?
No. That just means that they paid to get that ad in front of your face.
I see.
Doesn't mean it's less credible.
Got it.
They just want to make sure to reach you wherever you are.
Or more credible. Right?
It could be, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so you click on it and all of a sudden the guy who put the search box in his platform is making money now because people are clicking on the ad with the research results. All right, so that's really helpful to understand. Now, I think the first question that comes to my mind, and I'm sure the minds of other people, is we understand these various areas of monetization. What are the lowest barriers for entry, right? I would imagine banner ads would be the simple thing, and then maybe next would be the video players on the platform. But for the folks out there who are publishers but aren't the size of a major, I'm trying to think of like an Essence magazine or like a Black Enterprise or even a Forbes or The Economist. I mean, how do they get in this business?
So usually somebody builds a website or a platform and they don't have an audience quite yet. Usually they pay for an audience at first.
I see.
In order to create enough volume to be able to monetize effectively, right? So people will pay for Facebook traffic. So they will put ads in maybe a Facebook stream.
Okay.
Native ads. So this is where native comes in. A native ad, FYI, is an ad that seemingly fits into whatever platform it's in.
Okay.
So a native ad, a sponsored ad, will look like another Facebook post. But in little small words or little small letters, it'll say either sponsored ad or sponsored.
Interesting.
And so
I'm learning. I'm just so enthralled. That's what it is. I didn't even think to give you that pull up right there because I'm just like learning. My brain is connecting dots. But please go ahead.
Yeah, no. So usually a new publisher will buy Facebook ads and they'll get people engaged by placing a snippet of whatever content is on the platform, and somebody's going to want to watch or read the rest of the content, and so they'll hit the native ad and get to your platform, and hopefully they'll become an organic audience, right?
And then, but the guy that let's just use a company for example, Forbes magazine obviously wouldn't need to do this,
right?
But let's say a Forbes magazine wanted to buy traffic. They would go to Facebook and say, as you described, hey, place this advertisement. It's native to, whatever the thing is they're trying to like promote. Let's just say, we want more people to buy magazines. So place this ad about our magazine in your Facebook, advertising.
Whatever feed, the stream.
Whatever feed would be, appropriate. And then when people click on that, we'll get the credit. Forbes will get the credit for that click in terms of traffic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're building traffic so that if it was a small company, late down the road they can say, hey, we want to do search engines, we want to do this, we want to do that. Look at all the traffic we have. Now, does the advertiser care that they bought that traffic, or they don't care where it comes from, as long as you can prove to them that you've had X amount of. What would the terminology be?
Unique visitors, monthly visitors. Even though
the person didn't really ever visit the page,
they did. Once they clicked the ad.
Oh, I see. They clicked through to.
They were driven right to your platform.
Got it. They were diverted.
Yep. So hopefully they're so in love with your content that they come straight back to your platform in the future.
Maybe
right?
skip over Facebook. And
exactly.
Do it. Yeah.
Like, I'm in love with your domain or your website.
Got it.
I don't need an ad. Now I'm going to be an organic audience for the rest of, my life.
Do you have a sense of, what does it cost range-wise to buy that kind of traffic? Is there any General range. I'm sure it varies from who you're getting it from and
Who you're getting it from, how targeted it is. So if you just want to target males, it's going to be cheaper. If you want to target black males, it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
I see.
If you want to target black males that are 21 years old, then hello. If you want to target black males that are 21 years old that are pet owners, I mean, the more and more targeted information you layer, the more expensive the data or the ad is going to be.
And who do you go to buy the traffic? Do you go directly to a Facebook to buy traffic, or do you go to a third-party intermediary?
You could do both.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure Facebook requires that you're a large enough publisher.
Yeah.
So you probably have to start with a third party until you grow a big enough audience to go directly to a Facebook.
And are there any third parties that come to mind that that run this kind of business that you can think of? Because I wouldn't even know where to direct people.
I think DoubleClick is one of the most common networks that handle that type of campaign or targeted information data. Okay. Yeah.
And do you know if they deal with people with small businesses as well as big businesses?
I believe they do, yes.
Okay, so DoubleClick is kind of what people need to be thinking about. And by the way, this show is not sponsored by DoubleClick. Why not? DoubleClick,
I name dropped. I'm trying not to name drop.
No. We want name drops because I think at some point someone's going to say, that guy has a brilliant podcast. Let's give him some sponsorship.
I love it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
DoubleClick. That's how you're supposed to be thinking.
Hey, that's why I got you here. Pull up on that. I'm downloading right now, Nikki. Be prepared. So, okay, so that's really helpful to understand. So, okay, great. So now my other guess is this. We understand kind of the basic framework of how the businesses operate, banner ads, advertising servers, playing video content on your platform, search engines, creating search results, allowing you to then generate monetization from the advertisers, resulting in the search. So this all makes perfect sense, but the question that comes to mind, I think, for most people is going to be like, well, what kind of infrastructure from a technology standpoint do I need to have in order to effectuate all of this monetization? And then, price point, I'm sure this is going to range in cost, right? So what are some of the essential pieces of technology one would need to do the video advertising, to do the search, to do the banner? What do we need as a publisher?
So the first thing I would advise is an amazing engineer. Or a team of engineers.
You need a team to do this stuff.
Sometimes you do.
Okay.
I mean, if you're a small enough publisher, you might be able to get away with one. You might be waiting a little longer to, start the monetization process. But a great engineer is a key.
Okay.
They're going to know how to integrate search implementations, display units, whatever you need, video players, the whole nine. As far as the specific platform, I noticed that a lot of people are building sites on the Wix of the world or Foursquare, the whole nine, and they don't give you the capability to monetize.
Guys, listen to what she just said. For all of you about to go out and buy about to pay money for Wix or Foursquare, you won't be able to make any money. All right. So if you're in this business for philanthropic reasons, jump way in.
Right.
But if you're trying to really build,
that's true,
that bank account, then think twice about those platforms, at least as they stand present day. So, because these are templates that you won't be able to customize them as you need.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I guess that's the best advice. Yeah, there are companies that they build their own infrastructure and they start stacking things and they, buy servers and the whole nine. So a great engineer team, I think they would have the best advice. Would be the
So the most important question, I guess, is where can I find these engineers? Are they over the border in Mexico? Are they over in India?
Yeah.
Where are they, and what are they going to cost me?
Nowadays, I would take a chance on those who build apps. So you'll see youngins. I don't know what that's subjective. Youngins.
Generation Z.
Yeah, you'll see them just, effortlessly build things, build apps, build platforms, it's just, I would take a chance with some of them. I mean, definitely vet them out.
Yeah.
But younger people have lived in a world of technology since the day they were born.
Yeah.
And that gives them an edge on.
Got it.
This is not ageism. But that gives them an edge on others that have been in the business for a long time.
I hear that. I'm going to adjust this for you a little bit so it's right in front of you.
Okay.
So So I think, guys, if you're listening and you're older and you're not a youngin', then that means your nephew, your grandson, maybe your son or your daughter, and if they're messing around with technology, the phones, the laptops, they may be equipped to help you figure this stuff out, if not do it for you. You don't got to go to MIT and get a 3 PhD degree, engineer. We're not talking at that level. There may be people right under your nose that you can, source.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay, cool. All right, well, we're moving right along here. So clearly the right technology affects your ability to monetize, right?
Yes.
So, and we started talking a little bit about the traffic. I think I just want to get some numbers. People like numbers. So how much traffic does a platform need to get started in order to be appealing as a revenue opportunity for one of these advertisers?
I would say at least 1 million monthly visitors.
1 million monthly visitors.
That's probably
and that's
the least.
aggregated, right? Obviously, it's like, if you have 1 million on Monday and then 10 on Friday, you can still aggregate that and say, I got 1 million last month.
Yep.
1 million monthly visitors.
We tend to focus on monthly numbers.
Got it. And that will attract the advertisers.
Yeah.
On the low end.
And I mean, sometimes if you have extremely targeted content and it's like a niche audience that's really hard to find, less volume is okay.
Okay.
But like in general, at least 1 million monthly visitors.
Now, what about this? A little bit of a, the nuance in this is this. You have the publisher saying you have 1 million monthly visitors. However, I have 500,000 on Facebook, 200,000 on Instagram, 300,000 on Twitter, and my website, no one ever checks it out. So can that still no, that's not enough.
They have to come to your website.
The website is important.
You are monetizing your website.
Got it.
Yeah, your audience on your website. It's hard to monetize outside of your website.
I see.
Yeah.
And now people do monetize on social media platforms, but I'm assuming that's a whole different business, right? Because you can't play other people's ads over Instagram other than on your own page, I guess, and Facebook. So.
Right. So Instagram and Facebook, they are the ones that are monetizing advertisers, right? Because that's their platform.
That's their game.
So you have to monetize your own platform. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
They do give you a piece of that monetization money, though.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. We got a Facebook contact. We got to bring her back in here and talk about that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay.
No, but I don't. If an advertiser is advertising on their platform, then they're the only ones making that revenue.
Got it. So Pepsi's not going to give me anything unless it's my platform.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, guys, all those posts on Facebook, Instagram, they may not mean anything if you're trying to attract, the likes of Pepsi and.
But if you're driving people to your site through those social media posts, then that's a benefit.
That's what we call converting.
That's converting.
I'm going to give myself a pull-up. I'm learning as we go. So now we're going to get a little deeper in the game here, Nikki. So bear with me. All right. So we're going to explore some of the landscape. So what are the major players in the syndicating search engine game? And what distinguishes them? Obviously, everyone knows Google, right? We know they exist. And obviously, we know Yahoo. Outside of Google and Yahoo, I don't even know if Firefox fits that.
They're a browser.
Does that mean they're a search engine?
No.
Okay, so then we got to go, let's step it back.
Let's keep it to 3.
Yeah, what's the difference between a search engine and a browser, though?
A search engine is a space where you see a search box. You can enter a query and get search results. So the 3 search engines that we tend to use are Google. I should have said them last. So I'm going to hold on, back it up. Okay. Yahoo first. Yes. Bing is another one. Bing and Google.
That was Microsoft.
That's Microsoft's,
right?
Yep.
And Google.
Yes.
So those are the 3 major players.
Yes.
Got it. Because I can't even think of who else is out there. No one else is relevant.
No. There are small search engines from back in the day, but no one else is relevant as of today.
Like probably AOL was a search engine.
AOL, I'm sorry.
Oh, they're still around.
AOL.
Oh my goodness, yeah, because that's her company.
I want my job.
Yeah.
AOL.
But I don't ever really hear about AOL or see that in the search field.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because of the technology software I'm using. So all right. So AOL, Bing, Yahoo, and Google.
Yes.
Got it. And now I've heard that there is a difference.
There is a
difference. Enlighten us. What's the major differences?
There's not. Okay, there is a difference. Okay. All right. Okay.
It's okay to be a fan objective. You know what I'm saying?
So first of all, as overall companies, they're different, right? Google's heavy in the product space, into VR and mobile phones, right?
Okay.
Then you have Bing, that's also into product. They make Microsoft making computers, the whole nine.
Okay.
You have Yahoo, who's heavy in media. They're a media content creator.
Okay.
You see articles and video content around the world that's produced by Yahoo.
Okay.
And then AOL, we're just gonna loop them in with Yahoo since we're all Oath now.
Okay.
So those are like the differentiators between the major search engines. As far as monetization, what makes them different is their reach.
I see. Some have more reach than others.
Some have more reach than others.
But it's the internet. Why can't everyone be reached at the same level and be?
It all depends on what search engine people prefer to use. So a lot of younger people only use Google.
I see. I see.
And so you'll have a huge amount of advertisers who will work with Google because they know they can reach everybody.
Tons of millennials, because that's one of the ones they grew up in the Google age.
Yeah.
Got it. In my generation, I think I'm more of an AOL,
Yahoo
generation.
Yeah, me too.
And
Exactly.
I got it. And then I don't know what does Bing fit into the
Bing
demo?
tried to enter the marketplace and do something big, and it didn't. I don't think it worked out as well as they thought it would. So honestly, if you work with Yahoo, we also syndicate a Bing feed as well. So sometimes you'll be working with a specific company and have access to more than one search engine.
Oh, okay.
Or search feed, I should say. So the difference between Google and everybody else is that a lot of people think of Google as the only search engine.
Okay.
It's literally been coined as a verb to Google it.
No, totally.
It means to search for it, which hurts.
Yeah, it hurts everybody
else.
Yeah, like Xerox used to be. Like, yo, copy it, Xerox it.
But kudos to Google. That was smart. It's literally in the dictionary now.
That's crazy, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's all, there can only be one at some point in time. Maybe it'll all be acquired in part of one conglomerate search company, right? But right now you guys are competitors.
We are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But the interesting thing about you being competitors, you still do work for Bing, even though it's competitive with Yahoo, right? Because you said
we
they
work
come
with.
to work with.
Yes.
You partner with them.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Exactly.
Okay. So here's I guess the other obvious question from like a layman's point of view. Is it as simple as this? I got 1 million uniques on my website per month, and I know I love Yahoo because I use it all the time. Well, if I knock on Yahoo's door and say, hey, I got 1 million uniques, plug in a search engine in my platform and help me make some money. Is it that simple, or are there other layers to making that happen?
So personally at Oath, we'll vet you out to make sure you're big enough. If your platform still isn't big enough, say 1 million is not large enough at that moment, we will refer you to a subsyndication partner that works with smaller publishers. So we'll pick a subsyndication partner and only work with them.
Okay.
And then they will work with other subsyndication partners. So this is a way for smaller guys to monetize their platforms as they grow.
Subsyndication. Now, can publishers approach these subsyndication partners alone, independent of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Most definitely.
So what are some of those companies' names?
That's a hard...
They won't be household names, I assure you that, because I'm clear I've never even heard of a...
So you have the Iron Sources of the world, DuckDuckGo.
See, I never heard of this stuff. We're in the dark web right now. DuckDuckGo, Iron Source.
Media.net is a huge one. So yeah, they might not be... But Yahoo it. And,
that's right.
And
Yahoo
find them.
Don't Google it.
Gosh,
Yahoo it.
Yes.
Yahoo it or AOL it.
Exactly.
And find them and come up with Media Source. What a great name. We're in the subsyndication business.
Yes.
Whole other world. But I'm sure, they make probably a lot of money for their clients, right?
They generate.
Yeah.
Lots of money. Let's just say my search group, about 15 of us, we manage $2.9 billion as of last year. So there's a lot of money to be made.
And that's advertising dollars, right? 2.9 billion means advertising dollars committed to partnering advertisers with platforms to generate search results.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay.
You gotta give yourself one. Yeah, that was good.
Listen,
You got it.
Listen, I did attend MIT and got a PhD in engineering. But I mean, in my mind, I did do that. So anyway, but thank you. That's very helpful to understand. I think I have enough. If I got it, then everyone's probably got it.
Okay.
So all right. So we understand that. Now the next question I think naturally would be, you talked about native ads, you talked about banner ads. How is the business evolved in this space when it comes to native ads and banner ads? Like, I'm sure it's not what it used to be back in the AOL days, obviously, or even maybe 5 years ago. So
yeah, so it's changed dramatically. First of all, you've seen something called Programmatic Ad Networks pop up. I don't know if you've heard of it. But Programmatic Ad Networks are like the middlemen between publishers and advertisers. The plus is that it makes it easier for both sides to work together, and advertisers have access to multiple platforms in one media buy. So they can say, I'm targeting this type of person. The programmatic ad network would then target those people across many different sites, domains, platforms, publishers. These all mean the same thing.
Okay.
So that's awesome for the advertiser. What's also awesome for the advertiser is the fact that this is based on a bidding model. So advertisers are just bidding for specific inventory. There's no fixed rates.
Interesting.
What's bad for publishers is that there's no fixed rates. So before programmatic ad networks existed, advertisers would have to go directly to publishers. And so the publisher would be able to completely control the rate of the inventory. Now they've lost that control.
Yeah, it's open market.
Yep. And so that's how it's evolved. Everything is in programmatic when it comes to digital.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So these programmatic ad networks, can you name some of those organizations that do that business?
Yeah. So DoubleClick is one of them.
They also do. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're a huge programmatic ad network, and there are a few other ones, but I would base it on where you're located, because you want to be able to have access, like physical access to these companies.
Oh, really?
Just so you can have, like, I think it's important to have a business conversation with somebody if you're giving all your inventory to them. I
see. This is more than just, like you said, a digital relationship. There needs to be some interaction one-on-one, right?
There needs to be somewhat of a partnership. I mean, that's just how I like to run my business. I like to know who I'm letting control my revenue.
Totally.
So you're giving them access to your inventory. You need to have like some type of relationship with them.
And then what do they? I'm sure do they take a commission off the top? How are they typically paid for that service? Do you know?
Yeah, so it's probably based on a rev share model. I haven't worked for a programmatic ad network, but I'm sure that they keep a nice amount of that money, especially since they're the middleman. You wouldn't have access to those advertisers unless you worked with them.
And when you say access to their inventory, giving them access to your inventory, meaning your inventory of content and your platform. What access are you giving them? So
inventory meaning the display unit. So say you have a 300 by 250 and a few 200 or 300 by 250s, these rectangular squares, and then some other ad units that you wouldn't know exactly what they are, but they're in different iterations, right? So you would tell them, I have 100 300 by 250s available for advertisers, and then I have 50 videos available for advertisers. You tell them how much inventory you have, then they look at the advertisers and find if they're trying to reach your specific audience, and then they plug and play. They put them together.
Wow, it's automatic.
It's automatically. You just tell them how much inventory you have.
And then all of a sudden you have, Winston's or Rolls Royce or whoever, Lexus advertising your platform or 10 of your platforms, all because it's being programmed on a regular basis by this programmatic network, right?
Yes.
I see. Okay. So then that raises also the question, you came from the print business. In the age of digital, is the print ad business still relevant to any degree? And if so, how?
So for a digital platform, there's no need for print. For other things like real estate, luxury real estate, print could be useful. A lot of luxury brands like print. Why? I think it's because they're a tad bit vain. I think vanity plays a piece in it.
Wow.
To have a full page ad in
A glossy magazine,
a beautiful
high-end
luxury magazine, that plays into vanity.
I see. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
They can't track conversions with print.
Yeah.
Right. So how important is it? I mean, you don't know if you're getting an ROI on print anymore.
I see. Return on interest, guys. ROI.
ROI.
Yeah.
Return on
No,
interest,
it's okay. I'm sure most people understand that. But no, that's a really great distinction because, like I said, I mean, you still see a lot of publications, continuing to publish advertisements in their magazines and stuff. You're like, well, why is this still a business? How is it still a business? But there's a certain level of customer or what would you say? Customer that likes that tactile experience and feeling like they've connected with, Winston Jewelers or Rolls Royce or Mercedes Benz by looking at that glossy magazine, right?
Right. And when I was at Variety, you would have advertisers that just wanted access to studios. And a lot of our subscribers at Variety were studio heads. And so they would, in order to get to those studio heads, they're older, they still read print. I need to get my ad into this publication.
That's the game.
And that's the only way. It's still targeted, right?
Totally.
And there's still this older generation that prefers print over digital. It makes them comfortable. They were raised in print. And so until they pass, until they're no longer alive.
So we get rid of those baby boomers.
Yeah. print will be relevant to a point. And also print publications won't exist without ads. So
if the advertisers say, I'm done with this,
then the publication comes down.
Yeah, we can't measure this, so let's move on. You know what I'm saying?
They're for-profit businesses. Wow. They're not nonprofits.
Yeah, they're not here to give away things. You know, we know that. Okay, so you started talking a little bit about luxury brands and the print game. So moving into being woke and surgical in the marketplace, considering the various industries that partner with digital platforms, is there like a hierarchy or seasonal considerations or order of priority when considering partnering with beer and spirits, sports, brands, retail, beauty, travel, and live entertainment? Like, how do we make sense of all of these various advertisers in the context of doing partnerships and working with them as publishers?
Yeah. So there are certain times where verticals are hot, right? So
and let's not to interrupt you. I just want to make sure people understand what you mean by vertical, what you're referring to.
So beer and spirits is a vertical, travel is a vertical.
Why do they call it a vertical though?
It's a vertical because there are a lot of other subcategories that exist under those categories, those larger categories.
Exactly.
Okay,
so subcategories within categories.
We're
in the matrix, guys. If you haven't realized this, we're in the dark web right now. You're learning things that you'll never pick up in a conversation with anybody you know at the bus stop, the train station, or at the water cooler. We're heavy in the game. Please continue.
Yeah, no, of course. So these verticals have hotspots throughout the year, seasonality, right? So for sports, an example, you'll have opening days per league, right?
Okay.
That's when the audience is very engaged in what's happening. They're looking at schedules. They're looking at what's going on. They're in tune with the athletes, the whole nine. So that might be a good time to partner, right?
I see.
Say for beer and spirits, I don't know if there's ever a bad time to partner with them.
People always want to drink.
Exactly. Yeah. But there are certain times of the year where specific spirits are popular. Like Godiva is probably popular around Christmas. Like it's a cold, you think of it with coffee, right?
Yeah,
and like it's cold outside. And then you'll think about beer in more of like a summery type of seasonality. Maybe not, but certain beers maybe.
No, certain beers, Corona, be at the beach, you know what I mean?
And that's probably because of the commercials and the way they advertise themselves. That matters.
I'm programmed. Yes,
right. So seasonality is one thing. Another thing when thinking about who to partner with is you're aligning yourself with that brand, right? So if that brand has a bad reputation or something that you don't want to be associated with, don't partner with them. Please keep that in mind. It will, aligning yourself with the wrong brand it could be detrimental to your brand.
Disaster. Yeah.
And it's hard to recover.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of that these days. People are running away from all kind of celebrities and people with public profiles because of something they said, did, you can lose your Nike sponsorship overnight, brother, if you do the wrong thing. R. Kelly, you know what I mean? So, not that he was sponsored by Nike. I'm just saying he's always in trouble. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Influencers. A lot of times you'll see publishers partnering with influencers.
That's right.
They are considered a brand. That's a little risky, right? Because if they mess up or they have,
They're like 17 years old. You know what I mean? 18 years old sometimes. Not even. Sometimes they're adolescents, right?
Sometimes they're Oprah.
Yeah, sometimes they're exactly. Oprah is an influencer,
and she makes the world go round at this point. So
she is the kingmaker, boy. Get your book on Oprah's book club back in the day. You were a bestseller.
Exactly.
Yeah, pixie dust.
So yeah, think about those kind of things when partnering: seasonality, hotspots, and who you're partnering with. Reputation.
That's right. Not I was about to make some other jokes, but we're gonna move this on because I know you got work to get to. So tell me this: how does working with a luxury brand and celebrity red carpets differ from traditional sponsorship partners
in the event space?
Yeah, we've moved into the event space, guys.
No worries. Okay, so they have more money.
Yeah.
And, with more money, you can do more innovative, creative things that gain a lot of attention. So when a luxury brand spends money on event sponsorships, a lot of times their goal is to garner as many impressions as possible. And impressions could be, break this down.
Yes.
Impressions are the number of times they're mentioned or the number of times you see signage relevant to the event in question.
And they track those kind of things.
They track it.
So someone says, I'm trying to think of a luxury brand. I keep thinking of Winston Diamonds, but I don't know.
Good.
But someone just says Winston Diamonds, and all of a sudden someone's like, okay, check. He said it 3 times. Got it.
So they come in forms of sound bites on red carpets.
Got it. Oh.
A lot of times people don't know those are paid for, but
oh, slick.
Sound bites are sometimes like, what type of shoes are you wearing? Sometimes it's free shoes. Sometimes the advertiser paid for that sound bite.
I see.
So sound bites are a type of impression.
So when she's like, oh yeah, Roberto Cavalli made this gown, he's like, oh, check. She did a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was worth it. Got it. On the red carpet.
And a lot of times, advertisers give clothes, shoes, accessories away for free because they see the value in the number of impressions, right? So a celebrity says it on the red carpet and there are many cameras around, right? Mm-hmm. So each media vehicle has an audience. So every single camera or every single stream reaches a certain amount of people. So that's millions of impressions, usually just on the red carpet alone.
Wow.
And then you have people for variety events. You have other media companies or vehicles covering the events, post-event, pre-event, during the event. Those are more impressions. And then you have Variety Magazine with print circulation, that's impressions. And then you have digital ads at the same time. All this is going on at the same time. Those are more impressions. And so they're trying to garner as many of impressions as possible around the event.
You're really good. You actually answered the question I didn't ask you, which is my last question, which was how do you measure the success of a strategic partnership with a luxury brand? And clearly, it's through these impressions, these measurements. You know whether or not Roberto Cavalli knows whether or not, hey, I'm glad we gave Scarlett Johansson that dress or those shoes because clearly, look at all these impressions, look at all these hits. We're winning. It was a good look. Let's bring her back next year and do something again. And
I mean, of course, they'll look at their sales as well to see if they see a spike
in the sales.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Oprah was wearing those shoes and she has 1 billion fans and that's a win. Because at the next time they see my brand, they're going to be like, oh, Oprah wore that. I will spend my last dollar on that.
The Oprah effect.
Or whatever, whoever it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's going to be our next president. You didn't hear that? You know what I mean? So
I should have bought Oprah2020.com.
Yeah, you should have bought.
So I'm into buying domains now.
Oh, that's another business, actually, right?
Oh, that is another business.
Buying
that's a
domains,
huge business.
Buying domains and then selling them. So it's something you do as well.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
In my personal time.
I
will think of like really crafty things that might be coming up and I'll buy the domain for 99 cents. And I'll park it. It's called parking a domain, not building a website on it, just owning it.
Okay.
And then if Oprah actually runs, say I bought Oprah2020.com, if Oprah actually runs, by the time she runs, they're going to be like, oh, I want this domain. And then it'll say, if somebody goes to Oprah2020.com, this domain is for sale. And then you negotiate. You can sell it for millions of dollars.
See, guys, you're getting all kind of extra credit stuff here because that wasn't even on the script. She just gave you a whole nother business model.
Dropping gems. Dropping gems.
We pulled up on that, man. That was a win. I'm actually offline going to take some more notes on the domain game, clearly, because I need to get up my game in this digital space.
Too much.
No, hey, you know, we're all one co-worker. We're all family here, you know what I mean? So,
I love it.
You know, but listen, I so thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
If anything you want to promote or highlight that's upcoming for you or your organization?
I mean, if you want to dig into my brain a little bit more, want more insight, maybe want me to consult for you, hit me up on LinkedIn.
Now, hear that? Well, you heard it from her, Nikki Thompson. She's like, I'm out here. Get at me. All right. Well, listen, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you that tuned in for another episode, remember to subscribe to the Brooklyn Boardroom on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at BK Boardroom and on Twitter at BK Boardroom and or download episodes on iTunes. All right, guys. Another day, another dollar. Make it happen.